What's going on, guys? This is Heartbards TCG here. Just got back from the Orlando Regionals playing Zoro. I want to give you my deck profile on and just kind of talk about what happened during the course of the weekend, and then we'll talk about everything after that. This changed a little bit. I went 6-3 at the Regionals. And I changed it just a little bit because it felt like a little inconsistent, and there's like one or two games where I feel like could have been a lot easier if I would have had certain cards in the deck. So let me talk about that and some things that didn't change. I'll talk about that when they come up. Obviously, we're playing 4 Curly to Dawn. We play a ton of 1-drops in here, and she searches for them. Pretty easy. Some decks aren't playing them. They're just playing like, you know, like the two different searchers, but I am playing Dodon. I like Dodon a lot. Let me move the Zoro out the way because it is very glary. We're playing 4 Ezo. Ezo searches for a lot of cards. And then we're playing 4 Buggy, who honestly whiffs a decent amount, but he's a slash target with 1 Dawn on him. He is a 5k, and with a Magra, who we'll talk about next, he's a 7, which is pretty good. I wasn't playing Magra. I was only playing 2 at first, and then I bumped it to 3. I feel like this card is just really good in the Whitebeard matchup, and also just like overall, I think it's good in the Zoro matchup too, because like you can like force them to, like, if they don't leave up Dawn, like you can just swing 7/7 and just like force them to use 2 cards out of their hand, which they don't usually want to do. It's usually like Otama or a Makino or something like that. So this card is just really good at like getting those cards out of their hand when they don't have any Dawn. And then I'm playing 2 Gordon. I was playing 4. I had to change it to 2 because it was just clogging so much. It really did come in handy in like all my matchups that weren't red or weren't Zoro. Like it was pretty good into the. It was really good into the Doflamingo matchups. It was really good into the Katakuri matchups that I played. And then I also played a Yamato on round 9. And it was really good into that. Saved me, actually. But I was playing, I believe, I want to say either 3 or 4, but I'm pretty sure it was 4. I had to cut it to 2 the next day, and it did a lot better. And then I'm playing 3 Vista. Vista's just really, honestly, really good into the Zoro mirror, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there's no other matchup where I actually wanted to play this. It was basically like a 1k counter, unless I did have Gordon, and it was like early Dawn. I needed as much Dawn as possible. So Vista literally was just there for the Zoro matchup, and I won pretty much all my Zoro matchups. Oh, it was also good for the Law matchup too. I won every single Law matchup except for one I'll talk about later on. And I won all my Zoro matchups except for, I believe, 1. Which I'll also talk about. So then I'm playing 4 Marcos. Marco's just broken, guys. He's just absolutely insane. Honestly, like, it's so hard to get them off the board. Sometimes, like, if they have like 6 or more cards in hand, I'll just swing 7 at life. Like, there's no getting the Marco off the field. There's only very certain situations where you'll even like attack into their Marcos, like unless like you have control of the game and like you just want to like guarantee a win. Most of the time you're just not even attacking their markers because it's just going to come back or they're going to discard a bunch of cards, and it's just pretty much a waste of a turn. We're playing the 1 of Newgate, which is honestly just won me so many games. It won me both my Doflamingo matchups in the Chopper tournament, and then it won me a Zoro matchup actually in the regionals and in the Chopper tournament, or in the Chopper tournament too. So I felt like I always had this when I needed it, which was really good. I'm playing the 1 of Luffy as well. I wanted to cut this because every time I played it, it just felt like it wasn't very impactful, but it's still a body that has rush and can save you, so I kept it in. You guys can cut it if you want to. I personally don't like it, but I feel like it's a necessary thing to have in the deck as a 1 of just in case. And then the 1 of Marco, which also saved me in my last game against Whitebeard, and was just overall really good. So Marco, really good. And then for the 2k counters, we're playing 3 Jozu, just a searchable one. This is the one that you want to use the most as like counter fodder, because like all your other 2ks have like practical uses. I'm playing 3 Otama. I feel like Otama, especially since you're playing Gordon, you don't need 4 Otama. And also, like, a lot of times you just want to use it as a 2k counter, because sometimes you can be, like, kind of clogged up with events in hand. So you kind of need as much counter power as possible, especially in the Zoro mirror, because they can go for game unexpectedly, especially with Fiery Doll. Then we're playing 4 Makinos. Makino is just a better choice overall. Really good into Whitebeard. Really good into just everything, just closing out games. And then if you can swarm the board, they have to attack this Makino, and they're not going to be able to attack your Buggy or Ezo or Dodon or whatever. So it's kind of like fodder. It's like attack, and then it's fodder for the next turn. And if they don't take it out, it's going to be 3,000 power to one of your characters. So sometimes they just like can't take out all of them, and Makino is really good for that. My computer just fell asleep. And then I was only playing 2 of this in the regional, but Honestly, that was stupid of me. I should have played 4, and that's 4 guard point. Guard point was absolutely insane in the chopper tournament. I had so many matchups where I triggered into it or just had like 1 or 2 in hand and it was able to save me, and I was able to play a little bit more aggressively than I should have been able to, because I knew I couldn't die on the crackback. So 4 guard point is absolutely insane. And then we're playing 3 jet pistol. I like 3 jet pistol so much more than fire fist, guys, because especially since you're playing Marco and you're playing you're playing Marco and you're playing Vista. Like, you don't really need like that. You don't really need fire fist all that much from what I've found, because like after like turn, like honestly, like after turn like 3, like they're not really playing an abundance of like small characters. So, like fire fist isn't really all that great. And even into like Law, like you're already controlling their board with like Marco and then like Vista and like jet pistol and things like that, on top of just like attacking their board anyway. So jet pistol was honestly just better throughout the whole day, and it hit more things, like Gordon and jet pistol into a Mihawk, or like Gordon jet pistol into like a Big Mom. Like, it's just really good, and that way I didn't have to discard an event, and I can save the events in hand to protect my Marco. And I was playing 2 Whitebeard Pirates. Honestly, sometimes I triggered this, sometimes I didn't. If I needed an event in hand to protect Marco, I just wouldn't trigger this. And whenever I was thinking, I was like, what would this even get me? Like, what would Whitebeard Pirates even search me here? And the answer is most likely, like, the only thing I really wanted was like a 2K. So that's when I triggered it. But most of the time, you don't even really trigger it or even play it. You just use it as discard fodder. Just depends on the matchup, honestly, though. And then I mean, into blue, they're just gonna bottom deck it, so you might as well just use it. But the one of Fiery Doll to end the game. This is a super pre-release version, kind of swag. Saved me once with a trigger, and then saved me against a Whitebeard because I went for game when I didn't have enough. So the one of Fiery Doll, the one of Gum Gum, or Red. Oh my god, I can't even say the name. Red Hawk. And then the one of Radbeam, and then I'm only playing 1 Fire Fist, guys. I was playing 3, and I just decided to cut it. I'm not playing Diable Jumble either, because like people just play around the Diable Jumble, they play around the Luffy, so they just like never go to 0 life unless like they're already losing anyway. So it just really wasn't that great. Like, even into Whitebeard, the only reason you would even want the Diable Jumble is if like you already, like, the only reason you want Diable Jumble is if you have Fiery Doll too and they have like a Fossa or a Marco. But like having both those is like so rare, especially because they're both one-ofs, and sometimes like you want to trigger this like to save yourself. So like the Diable Jumble, like honestly swinging 14 against Whitebeard, like honestly doesn't really even kill them most of the time. So those are the cards I chose to play. At the Treasure Cup I went 6, or at the regional I went 6-3, and at the Chopper tournament I went 5-1, got 4th place. And let me talk about my matchups real quick. So I won on Friday. I got there after a long drive, only like 2-hour drive, but I wasn't able to sleep really well the night before. I won my first box tournament. The side event, it was only 3 rounds, sudden or single elimination, but I played against a Arlong, which is my brother just coming back into the game. Played against a Law, and then I played against a Zoro, beat all 3 of them. And then the second tournament, I beat Whitebeard, something else. I think it was like Katakuri or something. And then I lost to Law. But guys, I forgot, and if you're in my Discord, I said this too, but I actually would have beat him if I literally, like, the second to last turn, I forgot to put a Dawn on Zoro, and I swung with my Marco first at 7 at his life, and I forgot to put a Dawn on Zoro, so it was actually only 6, and he discarded a 2K to get out of it, where he could have discarded a 2K and a 1K to get out of it. And then the last turn, I swung at his life, and he had like a couple cards in hand, and I lost by 1,000 counter. So like if he would have discarded an extra 1K, I would have won that game. And he actually finished second at the regional. Really good player though. I forgot his name, but really good player. We had a good match, and honestly, that kind of thing just like haunts me. Like I hate losing in situations like that, because I know I messed up, and I'm like, damn, like how could I forget something like so simple? But yeah, remember to always put a Dawn on Zoro, guys. So pretty good in the box tournaments. And then the regional, the next day I lost to Whitebeard, and Zoro, and I also beat, I think I beat 3 Zoros, 3 yellow, a Whitebeard, and like a Yamato or something like that. I don't remember, because I won six games. I'd have to double check. But Whitebeard, like this deck sometimes, like it obviously can beat Whitebeard, don't get me wrong, but it just feels like it is just very inconsistent into Whitebeard, because if you like open up like a searcher and it whiffs, or like the searcher like doesn't really get anything, gets like a, I don't know, like a fire fist. Like you can't really fire fist anything that like Whitebeard has, because they play a bunch of 4/6s or like 5/7s or things like that, 5/6s. So like fire fist is just like a dead card, like if you search Ezo. So like if you don't really have the gas and like your turn is just like Ezo, search nothing useful, and then like put all your Dawn on Ezo and Zoro and swing 6/6, and then play Marco, like he already has an Atmos and then possibly a Luffy in hand, and then if he plays the ace too, it's like your whole board is cleared, and it's just really bad. It just feels really bad. So like I feel like after today, or after this weekend, I feel like Whitebeard actually might be the best deck just overall. It's just so powerful, guys. Like it's just so consistently powerful and dominant, and it just feels like a very insurmountable force. Obviously Zoro can win, you know, and Whitebeard ended up winning the regional. So 2 Whitebeards in the finals. So Whitebeard I think is just really good. I think it's really solid overall, and Zoro obviously can beat it, but it feels like they have to draw pretty well to beat the Whitebeard on a consistent basis. So I think Whitebeard coming out of the regional is best deck. Overall, between the side events and the regional and, you know, the chopper tournament, I think I went 16-5 overall with like all my like tournament matches. So I think I did pretty good. I opened up a bunch of Jimbeis and Barts from when I topped 8 at the case turn, or at the chopper tournament. I think it was a lot of fun. I want to give a shout out to everyone that came up to me and was just talking to me. I met a lot of really cool people at the tournament. Some people that I would call friends if I, you know, knew them for a longer period of time, and I just kind of reconnected with some people I met in previous events and just had a ton of fun in general. That being said, if you guys are playing into tournaments in future, like in set 3 tournaments, I do think that Law is transitioning more towards either aggro Law, playing the starter deck Namis and a bunch of Zoros and like Luffy's, or it's playing like a more big Law, kind of like what we saw in OPO 1, where they're playing like more Hawkins, they're playing like an 8-drop Kid, they're playing like other versions like that. And one of my friends who goes to my locals actually got 7th. He topped 8 at the regionals. He's playing more of like a bigger Law with like Film Zoro, and he's playing like obviously 8-drop Kid. And so like I think Law is transitioning to one of those two things. Both of them have their uses. One of them like doesn't, like Big Law doesn't lose to Fire Fist and like Marco and things like that as much, and then the aggressive Law like beats the hell out of like Whitebeard and like can beat Zoro if like, because it can just out tempo Zoro. So there's just 2 different versions of that. And then I just think Whitebeard in general is just really solid right now, guys. I saw Yamato, like a lot of people were like debating playing Yamato before the tournament, and there's some people that even played Yamato. And Yamato can be good into Zoro if they win the dice roll. Can be really good into Zoro if they win the dice roll. I only played 1 in the very last round. He said he played 4 Zoros, including me, and he beat 3 of them, right? So like Yamato can be really good into Zoro, and even into other matchups too. Like maybe Doflamingo probably isn't a good one because it's like, you know, it can grind with them and put up a lot of blockers, but they're like decks that don't have a whole lot of blockers and like don't have a whole lot of tempo. Like I think Yamato just beats in general. That being said, guys, I don't think I have anything else to talk about with this video. I think overall the event was really fun. It was actually run very smoothly. So big props to them, guys. Like all the box tournaments fired pretty quickly. The chopper event was like 3 minutes between rounds. And then the regional was just so smooth. Like there was no complaints to it. Shout out to all the judges judging. Everything was like really well organized, put together. Like people knew their stuff. There wasn't any like problems with deck checks or anything like that. So big props to everyone that participated in the tournament organization, and you know, just overall like smoothness of the event. Had a ton of fun. And guys, I will see you guys on my next one when I post just more OPO4 videos, and I'm going to be having a interview with the guy who got top 8 with Law, and we'll talk more then. Peace.